Friday Eve time for Weather Geeks on this Thursday evening. Want to start out, as we often do at this time of the year, on a Thursday with the Drought Monitor, which gets updated every Thursday. A little territory eaten out of the moderate drought in parts of Trumbull County in this update, but it's kind of splitting hairs. Still in a moderate drought, Mahoning County, a lot of Columbiana County, and about a quarter of Trumbull County, a little sliver of Lawrence County as well. But, we're splitting hairs on this. If you live in Mercer or Grove City, places like that, it's still dry there, even though you're not officially in the moderate drought category. The severe drought, which was issued with the last update last week in north central Ohio, like around Mansfield, was actually put back into moderate drought this week because of the decent amount of rain that they've had over the last week. Still a severe drought, though, up in western New York. In fact, an extreme drought around the Finger Lakes region and heading over towards Buffalo. That's where the dry weather is the worst. In our immediate vicinity, over towards the Boston area, also an extreme drought over there. Now, this continuation of the drought conditions is despite a wetter pattern that we've had lately, and it's interesting to look at the numbers for the year when you factor in every amount of every drop of precipitation and melted snow since the beginning of the year. We're actually above average here in Youngstown. It's interesting to look at all these numbers. Mansfield's 6 inches below average. New Philly, close to 4, close to 3 in Pittsburgh. And actually Youngstown to Erie, that general corridor, is not far from average. But again, this goes back all the way to January 1st. Certainly it has been a little bit drier since May, particularly away from the airport. The airport has tended to be actually one of the wetter spots since this dry spell began. Now, today was a dry day, and this is the first time we had no measurable precipitation at the airport in 10 days. We've had at least a trace, if not a few hundredths, and even more, all the way back through the 9th. And for the month now, we're running about 3/4 of an inch or so above average. All right, on the temperature front today, 84 was the high, 82 our forecast. So we were within 2 degrees, so we got a check mark today. Our latest accuracy streak is up to 5 days. All right, it wasn't bad outside today. Sure, it was warm. It was moderately humid, but we've gotten conditioned to just be used to dew points in the upper 60s to around 70, and today dew points were mostly in the lower 60s, especially this afternoon. It felt a little less humid out there today, even though the dew points were still kind of in that muggy range. Fairly sunny day today, as promised. The clouds and the little bit of precipitation staying off to our south this evening. No bother there. The full moon officially was this morning at 5 o'clock or so, but very close to a full moon out there overnight tonight. We're going to be dry tonight. As we go to Friday, moisture increases. It will be a little more humid tomorrow, and with that comes a 30% chance of a pop-up shower or storm as we get into the afternoon tomorrow. Saturday, kind of a similar idea, probably even fewer cells out there. We've only got a 20% chance in our forecast for Saturday. It's going to be a warm, muggy, breezy start to the weekend. And then, as promised, here comes the big cold front with the big changes behind it. This will bring some rain Sunday, especially in the morning. I think this is going to try to get out of here by noon 1 at the latest. And there could be some thunder and lightning with this as well. Look at all the wind on the backside of this. And this is true northern Canadian air visiting some places for the first time in weeks. And what a change it's going to be. All right, the Panerathon on Sunday morning. Southwest wind 8 to 16. Best chance for rain will be towards the start of the race and during registration. I think as we go, again, past noon into the early afternoon, there's going to be fewer raindrops, still a chance, but fewer raindrops, and it's not going to be that warm. Temperatures no higher than the lower 70s for the Panerathon on Sunday. Dew points will drop like a rock late Sunday into Sunday night, and look at the change. I mean, we go from a dew point of 70 to a dew point in the 40s in less than 48 hours. A little taste of September early next week. The sky will be pristine. The air will be cleaned out. You can see forever. It's going to be one of those days coming up on Monday. Tuesday and Wednesday look flat out gorgeous as well, with sunshine and warm temperatures but low humidity. All right, I retweeted this morning. This is from a forecaster over at AccuWeather, where I used to work, taking a look at the September precipitation forecast based on what has happened in previous years with setups kind of like this. We call these analog years. You'll see me talk about this when we get to the winter forecast. Basically, you go back and you look at years that had similar water temperature patterns in the Pacific Ocean, the Atlantic Ocean, other factors as well. Some of the analogs, of course, are years that we exited a strong El Nino and transitioned into some sort of La Nina, which is what we're expecting this year. And this is what happened in those Septembers when you average them all up. dry picture painted across the eastern U.S. Now, this is not a forecast, but it is a package of analog years that show a dry pattern when we've had similar conditions across the globe to what we have this year. So, hopefully we'll squeeze in some raindrops between now and the end of the month, because there is a chance, anyway, that September could be pretty dry across the region. So stay tuned for that. We'll do a September forecast as we wrap up August here in about less than 2 weeks. I'll see you tonight after our Olympic coverage. More weather for Weather Geeks coming your way next week. No Weather Geeks tomorrow. It'll be an early Friday for me.